I'm making sauerkraut today. I shredded 12 pounds approximately of cabbage from the garden, added 3 sour apples that were also shredded, and 4 tablespoons of salt, and now I'm going to add about a half tablespoon of caraway to the mix. Okay, the next step is to smash I got the wrong bowl here, to smash the cabbage down so that all the water content comes out of the cabbage, and then we'll put the whole batch into the crock. This is how you make sauerkraut. Part 2, sauerkraut making. Notice how the sauerkraut now has been mashed down, and you'll see that there's the juice of the cabbage at the edge of the bowl. I smashed and smashed, used all my strength to get the cabbage down to as much of a condensed form as I can, and to get all the moisture out of the cabbage. Now I'm going to put it into this, my harsh crock. This is the best kind of crock you can get if you want to make sauerkraut. I got that recommendation from this book, Making Sauerkraut, which is also a very good book. Here we go. I'll fill it and pack it tightly, and my goal is to have the level of the moisture in the water to rise above the level of the cabbage. And then I'll put the weights in and put the lid on with a little bit of water around the dam, and I'll talk to you next time about what the third step in sauerkraut making is. Part 3, sauerkraut making. As you can see, I now, come on over, have the sauerkraut in the crock, and I'm going to make sure that I press it down as hard as I can. And if I take a good look, I can see that there is, come on over, come on over. Yeah, there is, look inside this pot, there is moisture at the top, if you can see that. Now the next step, I've washed and cleaned these green leaves, the outer leaves, make sure there's no bruises, and I'm going to put them on the very top of the sauerkraut. This aids in some of the fermentation. It makes it nice to have a surface, a solid surface with the green cabbage leaves. Something I didn't mention earlier is one of the most important aspects of making any kind of a preserved food is sanitation. Prior to doing anything, the first thing I did was to pour boiling water into my crock to sanitize it. I didn't use soap, just boiling water. Make sure I rinsed it with boiling water, actually several times. I did that twice. Now I've got the cabbage leaves on the top. There's moisture, I can feel it. You could probably hear me squishing it down. Next up in this harsh crock is to put the weights. These are ceramic weights. If you didn't have a harsh crock, you would be using a plate to push down, but these weights work wonderfully inside this crock. I'm going to push it down. You never want to fill the pot up to over 80% of its capacity. You want to have a little bit of room at the top. I can see water, cabbage water, above the weights now. You hear it splashing around? Maybe you can take a look here, see what it looks like. Okay, ready to put the lid on? Use my paper napkin and clean out any little bits of cabbage that might have caught into the moat here. Before I put the lid on, I'm going to fill the moat up slightly with water. It's going to create a seal, a little bit of a vacuum seal. Air can get out, but no air can get back in. I'm going to be sure, after a little while, you may see it suck down just a bit, but every so often, after a period of hours and perhaps tomorrow, we'll hear a little bubble come out of the pot, and that's a good sign that the fermentation is happening. This is another interesting thing about cabbage. Did you know that cabbage has healing powers? Researcher Hans Rudolf Locher states that the juiciest, darkest, and greenest leaves are the most effective for external applications in cases such as abscesses, bronchial asthma, bronchitis, pleurisy, gangrene, gout, bruises, contusions, crush injuries, and inflammation of the lymph nodes and the middle ear. These are some pretty darn good cabbage leaves, and I think I have a likely candidate who might need some help. Let's so find somebody. I know someone who has a contusion. Here he is. Would you like some help, sir?
I miss.
He
My
has
golly,
a contusion.
look, it
on
works.
his
I don't have it anymore.
Look at that.
It's a cabbage miracle.
It's a